My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Please go ahead and share my latest Daily Caller article below. Free Julian Assange. That's in the pinned comment. This is a very happy day for the United States of America, especially when 3 Americans are freed by North Korea, and President Trump helped free these 3 Americans. President Trump welcomes 3 Americans freed by North Korea. This is CNN Politics. Even CNN couldn't manipulate the headline, or, there's no way to make this something that Trump did wrong, or, this is a beautiful, beautiful event. I'll read you this. Peace between North and South Korea is a monumental, historic, we're talking about global history, world history, not just, Trump's presidency. President Trump is flawed, just like they said, other politicians were flawed. You've heard that type of description before. We're all flawed human beings. But I'm not, when I explain that Trump has presided over something monumental, he just simply deserves credit. The fact is that the hyperbole around Trump is just that, hyperbole. The same people who think that he's a madman and he tweets the most egregious things and, oh my goodness, he's unstable, they're the people engaged in propaganda. The reality is some very great things are taking place under his presidency. That doesn't mean he's not flawed. That doesn't mean he's, that doesn't mean he's perfect. But it means that what they said about him wasn't true. I'll continue reading. President Trump welcomes 3 Americans freed by North Korea. Under an American flag and dark night sky, U.S. President Donald Trump personally welcomed home 3 American detainees Thursday morning after they were released from North Korea. The Americans, Kim Duk-chul, Kim Hak-song, and Kim Sang-duk, also known as Tony Kim, were freed Wednesday while Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on a visit to the North Korean capital of Pyongyang to discuss President Trump's upcoming summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. When that takes place, it'll be part of world history, not just U.S. history. And Trump will preside over something very special. Does that mean, and he will then deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. He already deserves the Nobel Peace Prize because this took place under his presidency. You can't simply say that a growing economy, peace between North and South Korea, exposing corrupt FBI officials, and if you include Brennan, CIA officials, and exposing basically a coup or an attempted coup with the Steele dossier or opposition research purchased by Hillary Clinton to fabricate this notion that Trump colluded with Russia even though there's zero evidence and he hasn't even been accused of a crime. Yet there's this Mueller probe that will eventually fizzle out or he'll get fired. Either way, nobody cares about it, and even Democrats know there's nothing there. They just want to go ahead and throw as much mud as possible. They're not done in their giant dumpster fire implosion. They will eventually be relegated to irrelevance, but they're not done yet. You're talking about anyway, don't get me started on it. This is a beautiful event. But I'm just going to read this again. I'll continue. No family members or friends of the 3 freed Americans were on hand for the arrival in the early hours of Thursday due to protocol reasons, an official told CNN. Speaking to the media on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews Air Force Base, Kim Duk-chul said his release felt like a dream. "We are very, very happy," said Kim. President Trump, who was accompanied by his wife Melania, told waiting reporters it was nice of the North Korean leader to release the three men ahead of their planned summit. "Frankly, we didn't think this was going to happen. It's very important. It's a very important thing to all of us to be able to get these three great people out." It's just amazing. I think that this is an amazing time, at least in terms of what Trump is doing with North and South Korea. Now, there have been tragedies obviously associated with hostages or people, forcibly detained by North Korea. I'll read. President Trump, who was accompanied by his wife Melania, told waiting reporters it was nice of the North Korean leader to release the three men ahead of their planned summit. "Frankly, we did not think this was going to happen." Trump also said he wanted to pay his warmest respects to the family of Otto Warmbier, the American who was released by North Koreans in a vegetative state, only to die days later. I think it's Warmbier. I'm sorry, Otto Warmbier. After their meeting with Trump, the three men were expected to go to Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland for further evaluation and medical treatment, according to White House Press Secretary Lindsey Walters. So what happened to Otto Warmbier is just, that was horrific. After addressing the return of the three American detainees, Trump was asked about the prospect of making a deal with the North Korean leader. "I really think he wants to do something and bring his country into the real world. I think this will be a very big success. It's never been taken this far. There's never been a relationship like this." That's all true. So tell me again how he's this insane madman. This is interesting. The media, they look at Trump as simply a gigantic personality that they hate. They're used to presidents acting a certain way and getting us into Iraq, Afghanistan, and then continuing, and then destroying Libya under Obama, getting us into Syria and Yemen under Obama. And by the way, Libya was President Obama's worst mistake, quote unquote worst mistake, and he was fine with that, But he was asked on Fox News, but they like a diplomatic. Americans, if you're watching from another country right now, it's pretty cool. There's people who are watching. I have one person watching in Serbia, maybe more than one person, but in the comments section. There were some other people too, from places that I didn't mention in my last segment, because I know that if I do segments in the middle of the night or in the early hours of the morning, I have people from around the world, so which is pretty cool. Let me see if I can go ahead and I don't know where I'm going with this, but of course. So there's one gentleman from Serbia, another person, because I mentioned that there were people from Canada, from the UK, from Ireland, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand who watch this channel. But there was another country, Portugal. So thank you for watching from Portugal. Thank you for watching from the UAE. Daisy Tito, thank you for always watching and for your kind words always. For my work, I really appreciate the support. So, there's people from around the world watching this YouTube channel, and I'm greatly appreciative and thankful. But the interesting thing with Trump is that The media looks at Trump as a personality that they just hate. They just don't like his personality. And then they create a caricature. For example, when the Charlottesville protests took place, he didn't say that he sided with white supremacists or neo-Nazis. He didn't say that. He did not say that. It was a childish, sophomoric, vapid, disingenuous, insidious, vile attempt by the media to twist his words and say that Trump sided with what he said, and it was an awkward response. It was a bungled response. But what he said was there are good people on both sides. Not saying that the neo-Nazis or the Klan members, who are obviously out of their minds with hate or whatever, and obviously the average American and Trump and you and me oppose their ideology 100%. But he wasn't saying that he supported them. He was saying that, oh, by the way, there happened to be conservatives, because it wasn't a Klan rally. It was a rally. It was conservatives who were there, and then of course the extreme fringe showed up on the right. But there were conservatives there. So what he was referring to is the conservatives and the liberals. He wasn't referring to the insane, extreme hate-filled groups. But the media then took it as, oh my God, look what he did. But this was actually taking place in their minds. When I went ahead and then that was the groupthink and the frenzied, frothing at the mouth mentality. They deliberately twisted his words because they voted for somebody who called black youth super predators in Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have a history of racism that's swept under the rug. Trump should never have used the birther myth. That was wrong of Trump. But Clinton is the Democrat who not only used the birther myth, she actually used it against President Obama while she was running, and she, in 2008, spread a photo of Obama in African attire. But Democrats pick and choose what they're outraged on. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's just immense hypocrisy. The hyperbole is what I oppose 100%. The hyperbole is that he's this madman. But now you have 3 Americans who were freed because Trump was able to, and you can't say that it's not Trump, because even President Moon Jae-in has stated he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. I think President Moon of South Korea knows a little bit more about what's going on and Trump's role than just people who hate Trump. You don't even have to like President Trump. You don't even have to vote for him in 2020. He'll win anyway. He'll win. But at least be intellectually honest. You look at Trump and you say, oh my God, he's this and that. At least be honest. It didn't happen under Obama. And it's not like this happened like weeks after the election or the inauguration. Like if this happened in February or March of 2017, sure. This is May of 2018. He's going on 2 years. He's approaching 2 years into his presidency. So give credit where credit is due. You get people who are like, oh my God, Kanye West or Roseanne Barr or, all these people who are courageous enough and they have a voice that opposes the Hollywood mentality. The Hollywood mentality is, oh, Trump is this madman ogre. Yet you have pictures of the same people who are calling Trump this racist madman ogre with Harvey Weinstein. Trump's biggest critics in Hollywood, they've had photos hugging and laughing and partying with Harvey Weinstein, who is the poster child for violent sexism and misogyny. And you talk about those words, I'm talking about sexual assault and misconduct. This has all been leveled against Weinstein. So you're talking about the picture of that. And all the people who would condemn Trump are like partying with him and oh yeah. Because the same people who hate Trump love power, love influence. In Hollywood is all about power and influence. There are not many people like Roseanne or Kanye who can just speak out and tell Hollywood to, this is a beautiful moment in time, so I'm not going to use a profanity alert in this segment. But if you're Roseanne Barr or you're Kanye West, you can tell Hollywood to, do something to themselves. You're that influential, or you've accomplished that much. But very few can do that. So there's this prevailing groupthink mentality. And so in Hollywood, there are so many people who are like, yeah, Trump, we have to resist, we have to oppose. And they took pictures and hung out and partied, not just took pictures. They were friends with Harvey Weinstein. And it's not just Weinstein. You could pick, there's probably a great many individuals like that guy in Hollywood. You have an industry that also Trump did very well in, but you have an industry where the foundation of the industry is narcissism, getting upset with a person they think is a narcissist. But the biggest egos on the planet are in Hollywood. So, and these are the same people who won't give credit to Trump for helping usher in an era of peace on the Korean Peninsula. Let's hope it takes place. It is moving in that direction. Why not give credit where credit is due? Trump greets Americans freed by North Korea. New York Post. So CNN. Donald Trump greets American hostages released by North Korea. The Independent. President Trump just tweeted on behalf of the American people, welcome home. So it's a beautiful moment. Tell me again, Democrats, how you're still obsessing over the imaginary activity between Trump and Russian associates. Tell me again how you long for Hillary Clinton because you can't fathom how the Obama administration sold 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Russia, but Clinton would have been the tough one against Russia. And now we have this beautiful moment where 3 Americans are freed and Trump helps free them, and there's hopefully peace between North and South Korea. Tell me again why the Mueller probe is so important to this country. It's not even investigating a crime. Then you have Stormy Daniels. You're focused on Stormy Daniels. There's nothing wrong with like a porn star or porn or whatever. This is not a moral judgment. I'm not saying this in a judgmental manner like, nothing wrong with those things. But a porn star, your life revolves around a porn star and a crime that you can't even articulate took place. A crime that you've imagined but can't prove took place. Democrats have literally, like when you say the word literally, no, it's actually, they're actually doing this, literally. They're obsessed over a porn star, and they've obsessed over a crime that they're not certain took place. $35 billion in terms of a budget for the NSA, the FBI, and CIA. And, oh, by the way, we don't know if a crime took place. We're confident. We're moderately confident. That's what the intelligence report states. They're bluffing. They're playing a card game, and the whole world knows they have no hand. So, when you watch like in Vegas, like the World Series of Poker, and you on the screen you could see what each competitor has. And who was it, like Chris Moneymaker, or I think, yeah, it was him, who bluffed. Chris Moneymaker, bluff of the century. Okay, so, but nobody is, this isn't the story behind the greatest bluff of all time. Okay, so Chris Moneymaker was able to convince, his fellow competitors that he had a better hand, that he was just bluffing, and it worked, and it was amazing. But this is a poker game where Democrats think they're Chris Moneymaker, and they're not. The whole world knows they're bluffing. The whole entire planet knows that they're bluffing. The entire planet knows they have no hand. But they're like, oh yeah, you don't even know what I have. Yeah, we know what you have. You want to know how we know? Because the Mueller probe has indicted everybody that has nothing, people that have nothing to do with Trump-Russia. Because their indictments are like, oh my God, Manafort laundered money in 2004. Okay. The election was 2016. What does that even have to do with... You could have... So the Obama administration knew this and didn't do anything about it? Okay. Dutch lawyers, an internet research agency. So this is hilarious. We have peace between... Hopefully peace between North and South Korea, and the Democrats are worried not only about a porn star, not only about an investigation without a predicate crime in the Mueller probe, but a total of $46,000 was spent by a Russian internet company on Facebook ads prior to the election that reports show that most people didn't even look at. So if you're from another country and you're watching this, laugh at us, yes, laugh. Be happy that we've, done some, Trump and his administration has done something great with North and South Korea. But feel free to laugh at the fact that we're focused on the stupidest things in the world. And by the way, this can't happen in other countries. Like South Korea had, was it President Park? The politics in other countries, in Pakistan or South Korea or throughout the world, they would never be focused with a porn star. They would never be focused like, oh my God, the leader had sex with a porn star, so let's go ahead and try to say that it was a campaign finance violation. Meanwhile, the real campaign finance violations took place by Hillary Clinton. As always, like everything that they accuse Trump of doing, and this is not... People say, oh, HA, he's not, the end-all, be-all. Yeah, of course not. I disagree with a lot of things that certain things that Trump has done, especially in Syria, continuing Obama's war in Yemen. Absolutely. I want our soldiers home. But the hyperbole is just ridiculous. You can't... In other countries, they wouldn't be obsessed with an election loss where the loss is blamed on a former adversary, Cold War adversary in this case, without any evidence that it happened. Only in America can you have a scandal without any evidence, where the actual true big scandal is overlooked. Let's hope that Jeff Sessions, let's hope that honorable people in the Department of Justice, or honorable people in the FBI. The history of this time, hasn't been... We don't know really what's going on. There's the fog of war. Well, there's a fog of politics that we don't really know what's going on. Maybe Jeff Sessions, maybe Bill Priestap at the FBI, maybe there are patriotic people who will save us from Bill and Hillary Clinton. From two individuals who control the Democratic Party and who basically just purchased a FISA warrant, purchased a Russian hacking myth. CrowdStrike we were the only country in the world who would allow a political organization to keep its servers from the government, hire its own tech company, and then have the government utilize the findings of the tech company that it purchased. It would never happen with Trump. If Trump said the RNC Republicans were hacked and that he had a firm called Trump Strike, the spidey sense and their ears would perk up, and all the intrepid reporters were like, this is crazy, there's a conflict of interest, why would you even trust? No, wait a second, we want the government to look at this. No, that's not what they say when the tables are turned. It's so obvious, too, like the history of this time period. And this is why the channel, one of the reasons the channel has grown is because I have wonderful people who watch this channel. It's not a question of what's taking place. We know that the media and the Democratic Party are basically colluding to sweep under the rug real serious scandals and focus on the most ridiculous nonsense. And now you get just even further delusion. They're completely and utterly delusional. They can't give Trump credit for this. 3 Americans freed. And they can't give Trump credit. Now, what happened to Otto Warmbier was just horrible. I'll read you in Wikipedia. I mean, it's important to remember what happened to this man, this American. Otto Warmbier was an American college student from Cincinnati, Ohio, who was arrested in North Korea in January 2016 for attempted theft, for which he was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. While incarcerated, he fell into a coma and never regained consciousness, dying in June 2017. He was traveling to Hong Kong for a study abroad program when he decided to visit North Korea on a guided tour. Wow. While there, he allegedly attempted to steal a propaganda poster, which I don't believe that took place. I mean, there's no... For which he was arrested to 15 years with hardly. Approximately 1 month after sentencing, Warmbier suffered severe neurological injury from an unknown cause. So, I mean, this is, I think it's important also to remember, that this is serious business in terms of the overall picture. The overall picture is basically this American was killed by North Korea. And now, thank God, we have 3 Americans freed. But this is, when you look at what happened to Otto Warmbier, and you look at the history between North and South Korea, I mean, they were at war up until recently. It was a ceasefire. Technically, they were both at war. The Korean War never ended for North and South Korea. It was a ceasefire. And now you have the possibility for denuclearization. It's an amazing time. Is Trump the Messiah? No. Is Trump a madman? No. Is Trump presiding over an historic moment in global history and does he deserve credit? Yes. Yes, yes. Give credit to the guy. That's all I'm saying, mainly. I'm voting for Trump in 2020, obviously. I've stated that, that's like what I'm going to do. I get a president who presides over peace between North and South Korea. I get a president who will really dismantle the Democratic Party single-handedly, which is fantastic, amazing. I get a president who exposes very dangerous people within the intelligence community. That's really, really important. The intelligence community gets paid from our tax dollars. Hello? We're paying them to protect us, and they're protecting Clinton. They're protecting politicians. Sorry, you work for the FBI, you should protect the country. You get paid from our taxes. You shouldn't protect a political figure. Sorry. Can't be James Comey, and then, Comey's hilarious too because he's, he wants to He wants to testify against McCabe, and McCabe hasn't even been charged yet. There's a criminal referral, so he will be charged. But these people are like backstabbing each other left and right. The only person who made out really is Comey. He has the book, but I mean that's not going to last. Sessions eventually will be forced to, because you have Nunes, you have a whole bunch of people in Congress who were like, no, we want documents. We want to see all this stuff. And in my last segment, they're finally allowing Republicans to see this. But sorry, $35 billion, you know, we kind of want you to protect us, hopefully, possibly. $35 billion and you're working for Clinton? Sorry, no, not going to have it. No. So Trump, just for those three things alone, peace between North and South Korea, and the fact that you have just Trump going up against the intelligence community gone wild, that should be the most important thing. That's why you have the Bill of Rights, to protect the country from that type of issue where Mueller is just destroying people's lives simply because of a fabricated event. But and then dismantling the Democratic Party, that's... You sue WikiLeaks, I'm voting Trump. So the day I decided, and this is just my reaction, I'm sure there's perhaps most WikiLeaks supporters are like, no, I'm not going to vote for Trump because of that, but they're suing WikiLeaks. The DNC is suing WikiLeaks, Russia, and Trump, and Santa Claus, and the Tooth Fairy, and the Loch Ness Monster, and Frankenstein, and Teddy Ruxpin. They're out of their minds. They're actually suing. And then Trump's like, good, let's have the discovery. Now when Democrats are like, we're going to take this, we're going to indict him. And then the people who are getting indicted are like, oh, okay, why don't you show us what you got? Because you're making this up. It's now come to the point where Democrats are like, what? You mean we have to prove our accusations? Yeah, you have to prove your accusations now. The hysteria is over. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. You've overplayed your hand big time. You are now no longer Chris Moneymaker. You are just somebody who doesn't know how to play poker. And everyone's like, you're going to have to show your hand eventually. So what do you got? They have nothing. They have less than nothing. Like, they're going to be the laughing stock at the poker table and lose all their money. They've put all their money in this thing called Trump Russia, Stormy, porn star, everything. Meanwhile, Trump is presiding over peace between North and South Korea, pretty, good economy. There's one great headline. This is a hilarious headline. It was like, Trump's growing economy. Poll shows that people are not happy. It's like they have to you can't win. There's no way. What was it? Oh yeah, this is fantastic. This is the best headline, one of the best headlines of all time. Most say a growing economy under Trump isn't helping them. That's bad news for Republicans. What? What kind of crazy poll is this? I mean, obvious. Oh, Monmouth. Well, okay, fine. That's very skewed towards Democrats. But when I was quoting this Monmouth University poll saying, oh, yeah, people didn't trust Clinton, everyone's like, wow, that's not going to matter. In the Monmouth University poll, 53% of Americans said they and their families haven't enjoyed the fruits of a growing economy, while 42% said they have. Yeah. Well, okay. In that same poll, 80% believe Stormy Daniels presided over the Steele dossiers. Stormy Daniels and the Steele dossier are like the most credible things on the planet. So But how do you twist that? It's like there's a growing... So let's look at all the horrible things that's taking place. This is the monster. This is the living monster called Trump, a living monster. Let's recap all the horrible things. Let's see, a growing economy, peace between North and South Korea, the dismantling of the Democratic Party, which all Americans should be very focused on and rejoice over, and the exposing of corrupt FBI and intel officials. What's so bad about a Trump presidency in terms of those things taking place? And also the issue, disagreeing with President Trump is great. Go and disagree. But the hyperbole is the problem. And we know today that something beautiful did happen. And something beautiful is happening between North and South Korea. 3 Americans were freed, and it's a beautiful day. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Thank you so much for listening.